The last resort. The Starbridge station hung in Earth's orbit like a giant mechanical spider, its 8 repair docks extending outward from a central hub. The station wasn't pretty, its hull was a patchwork of different metals, some sections clearly newer than others, and repair drones of various sizes buzzed around it like mechanical insects. To the advanced civilizations of the Galactic Alliance, it looked primitive, almost crude. But appearances could be deceiving. Sarah Chen stood at her workstation in the control room, her dark eyes fixed on the approaching vessel. The alien ship was beautiful, all sleek lines and shimmering energy fields, but it moved like a wounded animal. Its quantum wake was erratic, leaving a disturbing ripple pattern in space that made her teeth ache just looking at it. "That's the 4th damaged ship this week," remarked James Rodriguez, the station's senior engineer, as he floated up beside her in the low-gravity section. "And this one looks expensive." Sarah nodded, adjusting her regulation jumpsuit's collar. "Merchant vessel. Palaxian registry. They're broadcasting a level 2 distress signal." The ship's distress beacon carried more than just an emergency signal, it carried desperation. They'd already been turned away from 3 top-tier Alliance repair stations. Starbridge was their last hope before a 6-month sublight journey to their homeworld. "Control, this is Captain Zex Na of the merchant vessel Dawntreader," a melodic voice crackled through the comm requesting emergency docking clearance. Sarah activated the station's external cameras, zooming in on the vessel's hull. Beneath the sophisticated energy shielding and quantum field generators, she spotted something that made her smile. "Captain Zex Na, this is Starbridge Control. We see you. Transmit your ship specifications and proceed to Dock 3. The Palaxian captain's voice carried a note of surprise. Most stations demanded extensive paperwork and guarantees before accepting an unknown vessel. But Sarah had already seen what she needed to see. As the Dawntreader limped toward Dock 3, James raised an eyebrow. "You spotted something?" Sarah's fingers danced across her holographic display, highlighting sections of the ship's hull. "Look at the power distribution nodes. They're using crystalline quantum matrices, top-of-the-line Alliance tech. But underneath?" She zoomed in further. "That's a modified Hawking drive. They've jury-rigged Alliance tech onto an older human-designed engine core." James whistled. No wonder the Alliance stations couldn't fix it. Their automated systems wouldn't know how to handle that combination. The docking procedure took longer than usual, the Dawntreader's damaged systems struggling to maintain position. When the airlock finally cycled, Sarah was there to meet their guests. Captain Zex Na turned out to be tall and elegant, with iridescent scales and compound eyes that reflected the station's lights like prisms. "Welcome to Starbridge," Sarah said, offering the traditional Palaxian greeting gesture, right hand open, palm facing inward. "I'm Chief Engineer Chen." The captain's scales rippled in what Sarah recognized as surprise. "You know our customs. I was told this was a primitive facility." Sarah smiled. "We're full of surprises. Tell me about your ship's problems." As they walked toward the observation deck, Zex Na explained. The Dawntreader's systems had been failing progressively over the past month. The Alliance station's diagnostic AIs had declared the problem unsolvable without complete replacement of all quantum systems. Sarah stopped at a viewport overlooking the ship. "Because they couldn't understand why you'd build a ship this way in the first place, right? Mixing technologies from different engineering philosophies." "Exactly." Zex Na's scales flickered with excitement. "The Hawking drive was reliable, but we needed more power. The Alliance quantum matrices were the only option available, but no one would help us integrate them properly. We did our best, but now the quantum fields are interfering with the Hawking drive's containment systems," Sarah finished. "Creating cascade failures that look like complete system collapse to Alliance diagnostic programs." The captain's compound eyes widened. "You can see all that just by looking?" Sarah shook her head. "Not just by looking. But we've seen this kind of problem before. Humans spent centuries cobbling together technologies from different sources, making them work together through trial and error. It's kind of our specialty. She keyed her comm. James, get the hybrid diagnostic kit from storage bay 12. And we'll need the quantum field manipulators, the manual ones, not the automated system. Manual tools. Zexna's scales paled. But the quantum matrices are extremely delicate. The slightest misalignment could cause a catastrophic containment failure. Yes, Sarah agreed. But sometimes you need a surgeon's touch, not a robot's precision. Want to see how we do things on this primitive station? The next 12 hours were a masterclass in human ingenuity. Sarah and her team used equipment that looked ancient by Alliance standards, but their movements were sure and precise. They traced the interference patterns manually, adjusted quantum fields by eye, and slowly, carefully, brought the two systems into harmony. It's not just about fixing what's broken, Sarah explained as they worked. It's about understanding why things work the way they do. Alliance systems are amazing, but they're designed to work with other Alliance systems. Sometimes you need to think outside their parameters. When they finished, the Dawntrader systems were running at 110% efficiency, better than factory specifications. Captain Zexna's scales were shimmering with joy as they conducted the final tests. I must admit, I was skeptical when we were directed here, the captain said. But this is remarkable. You haven't just fixed our ship, you've improved it. Sarah smiled, wiping grease from her hands. That's what we do here. Not everything new is better, and not everything old is obsolete. Sometimes the best solution is a combination of both. As the Dawntrader prepared to depart, Zexna approached Sarah one last time. We will tell others about this place. About what you can do here. We'll be here, Sarah replied. There's always something that needs fixing. Watching the merchant ship disappear into quantum space, its wake now smooth and stable, Sarah felt a familiar pride. Humans might be newcomers to the galactic community, their technology might seem primitive to some, but they had something valuable to offer, the ability to understand, adapt, and improve upon any technology they encountered. Little did she know, the Dawntrader was just the beginning. Word would spread quickly through the merchant lanes about the primitive repair station where humans could fix the unfixable. Starbridge Station was about to become very busy indeed. The impossible fix. 3 weeks after the Dawntrader's departure, Starbridge Station faced a challenge that would test the limits of human ingenuity. The emergency alert came during third shift, when most of the station was powered down for routine maintenance. Sarah was elbow-deep in a coolant system when the station's proximity alarms screamed to life. She rushed to the control room, still dripping coolant, to find James already at his post, his dark skin illuminated by the red emergency lights. What are we looking at? She demanded, calling up the external feeds. Coalition warship, James replied, his voice tense. Dreadnought class. And Sarah, it's leaking radiation. The vessel that appeared on their screens made the Dawntrader look like a toy. Nearly 2 kilometers long, its hull was covered in weapon ports and defense screens. But something was terribly wrong. The ship's quantum shields flickered like dying stars, and waves of dangerous radiation pulsed from its core. This is Admiral Korax of the Coalition Defense Force, a gravelly voice transmitted. Our primary containment is failing. We have less than 6 hours before catastrophic core breach. Sarah's blood ran cold. A core breach in a ship that size would take out half of Earth's orbital installations. How many crew? 3,412, the Admiral responded. We've already evacuated non-essential personnel, but 2,000 remain to maintain critical systems. James pulled up the ship specifications. Coalition quantum cores are triple contained. For all 3 layers to fail simultaneously. We were testing a new weapon, Korax admitted. A quantum destabilizer. The test went poorly. Sarah studied the readings. The situation was worse than anything they'd handled before. Coalition ships used technology far more advanced than the merchant vessels they usually serviced. A single mistake could trigger a chain reaction that would destroy both the warship and starbridge. "Admiral," she said carefully, "we're a civilian repair station. Surely the Coalition has better equipped facilities." "We've tried them," Korax interrupted. "Their automated systems can't adapt fast enough to the cascade failures. We need unconventional solutions." Sarah met James's eyes. They both knew what was at stake. Earth had only recently gained standing in the galactic community. Turning away a Coalition warship could have serious diplomatic repercussions. But attempting repairs and failing could be catastrophic. Dock 7, she decided. It's isolated from the main station. If something goes wrong. The next hour was a blur of activity. Sarah assembled her best teams while James coordinated with Earth's orbital defense grid, preparing for the worst. When the warship docked, its massive bulk made Starbridge look like a remora attached to a whale. Admiral Korax was a towering figure, 3 meters tall with armor-plated skin and 4 arms. He had to duck to enter the station's conference room. "Our own engineers are baffled," he rumbled. "The quantum destabilizer created a cascade effect we've never seen before." Sarah studied the holographic display of the ship's core. The quantum fields were collapsing in a complex pattern, each failure triggering new failures in seemingly random locations. But as she watched, something clicked. "It's not random," she whispered. "James, remember that old paper on quantum entanglement from MIT? About sympathetic resonance?" James's eyes widened. "The coffee cup experiment? But that was theoretical." Sarah turned to the Admiral. "Your weapon didn't just destabilize the core's quantum fields. It entangled them. They're pulling each other apart like a quantum chain reaction. Can you stop it?" Korax demanded. "Not with conventional tools," Sarah admitted. "But..." She pulled up another display. "James, remember what we did with the Dawntraitor? About making different technologies work together?" For the next 4 hours, Sarah and her team attempted something that Coalition engineers would have considered insane. They used modified versions of old Earth particle accelerators to create controlled quantum disruptions, effectively canceling out the destabilized fields one by one. "It's like fighting fire with fire," Sarah explained to the bewildered Coalition engineers. "Your quantum technology is too perfect, too integrated. Sometimes you need to introduce a little chaos to restore order." The work was precise and dangerous. One mistake could accelerate the core breach instead of preventing it. Sarah's hands were steady as she adjusted the primitive-looking controls, but sweat dripped down her face. With less than 30 minutes remaining before critical failure, the core's quantum fields finally stabilized. The radiation levels dropped to safe parameters. Throughout the ship, emergency alarms fell silent. Admiral Korax studied the readings in disbelief. "You used particle accelerator technology that predates our quantum systems by centuries, to save our most advanced warship?" "Sometimes the old ways work best," Sarah said, allowing herself to smile. "Your quantum systems are amazing, but they're also vulnerable to quantum-based attacks. Our primitive technology gave us a way to interact with the problem without becoming part of it." The Admiral was quiet for a long moment. "The Coalition has long considered human technology to be unsophisticated. We may need to revise that assessment. This station has done what our best facilities could not." As the Coalition warship prepared to depart, Sarah received a priority message from Earth's diplomatic corps. The Coalition had officially requested a permanent human engineering presence at their main shipyards. Moreover, they wanted to establish a joint research program to study the integration of human and Coalition technologies. "Looks like we're going to be even busier," James commented, watching the warship disappear into quantum space. Sarah nodded, already thinking about the possibilities. Humans had just proven they could not only fix advanced alien technology but improve upon it in ways the aliens themselves hadn't considered. Their primitive approach, mixing old and new technologies with an intuitive understanding of both, was about to change the face of galactic engineering. The impossible fix had turned into something much more, a bridge between human ingenuity and alien advancement, proving that sometimes the best solutions come from unexpected places. Word spreads. 1 month after saving the Coalition warship, Starbridge Station was overwhelmed. Ships from every corner of the galaxy crowded Earth's orbital lanes, waiting for their turn at the suddenly famous repair facility. Sarah stood at her usual spot in the control room, staring at the holographic display with a mixture of pride and exhaustion. 57 ships in the queue, James reported, scrolling through the list. 3 Merchant Guild vessels, 2 Coalition scouts, a hive mind transport, and is that a nomad world ship? The massive vessel he indicated was unlike anything they'd seen before, a city in space, home to millions of the mysterious nomad species. Its hull was a living metal that grew and adapted over centuries of travel. Now it pulsed with an unhealthy rhythm, like a heartbeat gone wrong. Their message says their biological computing systems are failing, Sarah said, reading the transmission. No other station will touch it because the technology is partially organic. They've been traveling for 3 months to reach us. The station's success with the Coalition warship had spread through the galactic communication networks like wildfire. Humans, it seemed, had a reputation now. They were the ones you went to when no one else could help, when the problem was too strange or too complex for conventional solutions. Sarah. A voice called from across the control room. Lisa Wong, their newest engineer, was waving urgently. You need to see this. The Merchant Guild ships, they're carrying something interesting. The holographic display shifted, showing manifests from the waiting vessels. Sarah's eyes widened as she read. The ships weren't just here for repairs, they were carrying equipment. Old equipment. Human equipment. Are those particle accelerator components? James asked, leaning closer. And, is that a 20th century oscilloscope? They're collecting Earth technology, Sarah realized. Ancient stuff, by their standards. After what we did with the Coalition ship. She trailed off, understanding dawning. The galaxy had noticed something crucial about human engineering. While alien civilizations had pursued pure advancement, always seeking the newest and most sophisticated solutions, humans had maintained knowledge of older technologies. They understood the principles behind their tools, not just how to use them. Chief Chen. Another alert, this time from the communication station. Priority message from the hive mind transport. They say their collective consciousness interface is degrading. If it fails completely, they'll lose thousands of years of shared memory. Sarah felt the weight of responsibility settling on her shoulders. Each ship in the queue represented not just a technical challenge, but lives and livelihoods depending on human ingenuity. They needed to expand, and fast. James, call Earth Engineering Corps. We need more staff, and we need them yesterday. Lisa, start cataloging all our primitive equipment. If everyone wants to learn the human way of fixing things, we better make sure we remember all of it ourselves. Over the next week, Starbridge transformed. New docking arms were hastily constructed to handle the overflow. Engineering students from Earth's top universities were shuttled up for crash courses in xenotechnology repair. Sarah found herself not just fixing ships, but teaching aliens how to think like human engineers. The key isn't the technology itself, she explained to a group of Coalition engineers who had arrived to study their methods. It's understanding the principles behind it. When you know how something truly works, you can fix it with anything available. To demonstrate, she took apart a quantum field generator using tools that looked like they belonged in a museum. See. The quantum fields follow the same basic physics we discovered centuries ago. The principles haven't changed, just our tools for working with them. The station began offering classes alongside repairs. Alien engineers learned to diagnose problems without relying solely on automated systems. They discovered the value of mechanical backup systems and the importance of understanding their technology's fundamental principles. The Nomad worldship proved to be their biggest challenge yet. Its living metal responded to thoughts and emotions as much as physical tools. Sarah and her team had to invent entirely new repair procedures, combining Earth's oldest healing practices with cutting-edge biotechnology. It's like acupuncture for a city, Sarah mused, as they carefully inserted crystalline needles into specific points of the living hull. The ancients understood how energy flowed through living systems. We're just applying that knowledge on a larger scale. The success with the worldship brought even more attention. The Galactic Council itself took notice, sending observers to study the human approach to technology. What they found surprised them. Humans hadn't just preserved their old technology, they'd maintained an entire philosophy of engineering that the more advanced civilizations had gradually lost. Your species is unique, a council observer told Sarah. You don't just adapt to new technologies, you make technologies adapt to you. You understand them in ways we've forgotten. As she watched the Nomad worldship depart, its hull now pulsing with healthy light, Sarah reflected on how far they'd come. Starbridge wasn't just a repair station anymore. It was becoming a symbol of humanity's contribution to the galaxy, a reminder that progress wasn't always about moving forward, but about understanding where you'd been. Message from Earth Engineering Corps, James called out. They're fast-tracking the construction of 5 more stations based on Starbridge's design. They want you to oversee the training program. Sarah smiled. The galaxy was about to learn that humanity's greatest strength wasn't in their technology, but in their unique way of understanding it. The age of human engineering was just beginning. The crisis. 6 months after Starbridge became the galaxy's most famous repair station, Sarah faced a situation no amount of technical expertise could solve alone. 2 massive warships materialized in Earth's orbit simultaneously, one belonging to the Coalition, the other to their historic rivals, the Ascendancy Alliance. Both ships are broadcasting emergency signals, James reported, his voice tense. Both claiming critical system failures. Both demanding immediate priority docking. Sarah studied the readings. The Coalition vessel was a stealth destroyer, its adaptive camouflage systems failing in ways that threatened to tear the ship apart at a quantum level. The Ascendancy ship was a dreadnought with destabilizing weapon cores that could detonate at any moment. If we help one first, the other might take it as a political statement, Lisa warned. These species have been in a Cold War for centuries. The situation was made worse by the fact that both ships possessed classified military technology. Neither side would allow the other's engineers to witness repairs that might reveal technical secrets. But there wasn't time to repair them separately, both ships were critical. Sarah took a deep breath. James, prep docks 8 and 9. Lisa, get me a secure channel to both commanders. The Coalition commander appeared first, a reptilian figure Sarah recognized. Admiral Korax. I didn't expect to see you again so soon. The Admiral's scales rippled with distress. The stealth systems, there was a cascade failure during a routine patrol. We need your help, Chief Chen. The Ascendancy commander materialized next, her crystalline form pulsing with barely contained energy. I am High Commander Ver-11. Our situation is most dire. We require immediate assistance. Sarah looked between the 2 proud military figures, each representing vast and powerful civilizations, each now dependent on a primitive human repair station. An idea began to form. Both your ships will be destroyed if we don't act quickly, she said carefully. But we don't have enough specialized equipment to work on both simultaneously, unless... Unless what? Ver-11 demanded. Unless we combine our resources and work together. Sarah held up a hand as both commanders began to protest. Not sharing technology, sharing principles. She pulled up a holographic display of both ships. Your technologies are different, but they're built on the same fundamental physics. We humans learned long ago that understanding the basics lets you solve problems without revealing specific implementations. Impossible, Korax rumbled. Our systems are too different. Are they? Sarah interrupted. Coalition stealth systems use quantum field manipulation to bend spacetime. Ascendancy weapon cores use quantum field manipulation to concentrate energy. Different applications, same underlying principle. She looked at both commanders. We can set up parallel repair bays with privacy screens. My teams will work with both crews simultaneously, teaching them universal repair principles without sharing specific technologies. You'll each fix your own ships, but with our guidance on the fundamental level. There was a long moment of tension. Both commanders studied each other through the holographic displays, centuries of mistrust evident in their postures. And if we refuse? Ver 11 asked. Then you both lose your ships, Sarah said simply. And explain to your governments why you let military assets be destroyed because you couldn't set aside politics for basic physics. What followed was the most delicate operation in Starbridge's history. 2 repair bays, separated by security fields but working in parallel. Sarah and her team coordinated between them, teaching both crews how to understand and stabilize quantum fields using basic principles that predated both their civilizations. Think of it like teaching 2 people to swim, Sarah explained to her nervous staff. They might use different strokes, but the water works the same way for everyone. Hours passed in intense concentration. Both crews learned to see past their advanced technology to the fundamental forces at work. They discovered that their primitive, human teachers understood things about quantum mechanics that their civilizations had forgotten in their rush to advance. Finally, both ships were stable. As the repair teams worked on final checks, Sarah noticed something unexpected. The Coalition and Ascendancy crews were asking each other questions through the security fields, not about classified technology, but about basic engineering principles. Your method of quantum field visualization is interesting, a Coalition engineer admitted to his Ascendancy counterpart. We use a different approach, but the underlying mathematics must be similar. Perhaps, the Ascendancy engineer replied thoughtfully, there are other areas where our understanding overlaps. When the ships finally departed, they left separately but with something new, a shared experience of cooperation, however limited. More importantly, both crews had learned to look past their advanced technology to understand the principles beneath. Message from Earth Diplomatic Corps, James announced after both ships had gone. Both the Coalition and Ascendancy have requested permanent human engineering advisors for their fleets. Separately, of course, but they'll be teaching the same principles, Sarah finished. Maybe understanding how things work at a fundamental level can build bridges in other ways too. The crisis had revealed something important. Humanity's greatest contribution to the galaxy might not be their technical skills or their ability to fix advanced technology. It might be their ability to see past the complexity to the simple truths underneath, and in doing so, help others find common ground. Legacy. 1 year after Starbridge Station first received the damaged Palaxian merchant vessel, Sarah stood in Earth's newly constructed Galactic Engineering Academy, facing a lecture hall filled with beings from across the known universe. The massive auditorium had been designed to accommodate everything from microscopic silicon-based life forms to energy beings housed in containment suits. The principles of engineering, she began, are universal. It doesn't matter if you're fixing a quantum drive or a wooden wheel, understanding how things work at their most basic level is the key to true innovation. In the year since their diplomatic breakthrough with the Coalition and Ascendancy ships, humanity's approach to technology had sparked a revolution in galactic engineering. The Academy was its culmination, a place where the galaxy's most advanced civilizations came to learn from humanity's primitive wisdom. Chief Chen, a crystalline being chimed from the front row, our civilization achieved quantum manipulation millennia ago. Why should we study obsolete technologies? Sarah smiled, reaching into her pocket. She pulled out an ancient pocket watch, actual gears and springs, hundreds of years old. Who can tell me how this works? The lecture hall was silent. These beings could manipulate the fabric of spacetime, but none could explain the simple mechanical principles of the timepiece. This watch, Sarah continued, represents something we humans never forgot. Every gear, every spring, serves a purpose we can see and understand. When it breaks, we don't just replace it, we understand why it broke, and how to prevent it from breaking again. She activated the holographic display, showing the interior of a modern quantum core alongside the watch's mechanism. Notice anything? Gasps of recognition rippled through the audience as the similarities became clear. The basic principles of energy transfer, of mechanical advantage, of rhythm and timing, they were present in both technologies, merely expressed differently. Your civilizations advanced so quickly, so brilliantly, that you sometimes lost touch with the foundations, Sarah explained. We humans advanced more slowly, but we carried our history with us. Every step of our technological evolution is still alive in our understanding. The Academy's curriculum reflected this philosophy. Students learn to repair quantum drives with mechanical tools, to understand AI systems through basic logic gates, to see the patterns that connected the simplest machines to the most advanced technology. But it wasn't just about repair techniques. James, teaching in the next hall, was showing coalition and ascendancy engineers how their supposedly incompatible technologies shared common ancestors in the laws of physics. Lisa had developed a program teaching advanced civilizations how to create mechanical backup systems for their quantum technology. The galaxy is entering a new age, Sarah continued. Not an age of advancement, but an age of understanding. Each of your civilizations has achieved incredible things, but together, combining your advancement with true comprehension, we can achieve so much more. After the lecture, Sarah walked through the Academy's main hall, where displays showed real-time feeds from the dozen human-designed repair stations now orbiting Earth. Each was a beacon of innovation, where the galaxy's most advanced technology met humanity's deep understanding of fundamental principles. Message from the Galactic Council, James called, jogging to catch up with her. They're proposing a new classification for Earth. Sarah raised an eyebrow. Technological classification was important in galactic politics, determining everything from trade rights to diplomatic status. Earth had been classified as a developing technical civilization when they first joined the galactic community. They want to create a new category, James continued, grinning. Master Engineering Civilization. The first of its kind. Sarah watched a group of alien students gathering around a disassembled 20th-century internal combustion engine, their advanced sensors and quantum analyzers probing its simple but elegant design. Next to them, human instructors were teaching principles that would help maintain ships capable of crossing galaxies. You know what the best part is? James added. The Coalition and Ascendancy jointly sponsored the proposal. Apparently, understanding basic engineering principles has led to better diplomatic understanding too. Who knew that learning how things work could help people work together? The legacy of Starbridge Station had grown far beyond simple repairs. Humanity had shown the galaxy that true advancement wasn't just about creating new technology, it was about understanding technology at every level. Their primitive approach had become the foundation for a new era of galactic cooperation and innovation. We never set out to change the galaxy, Sarah mused, watching the diverse group of beings learning together. We just wanted to fix things. Maybe that's exactly why we did change it, James replied. Because we never forgot that at its heart, engineering isn't about the technology. It's about solving problems and understanding why our solutions work. As she looked out over the Academy grounds, where beings from across the cosmos gathered to learn humanity's approach to technology, Sarah realized that they had built something far more important than a repair station. They had built a bridge, between past and future, between different civilizations, and between different ways of thinking. The legacy of human engineering would echo across the galaxy for generations to come, reminding everyone that sometimes the most primitive solution could solve the most advanced problems, and that understanding the basics was the key to mastering the most complex technologies in the universe.